So today I want to talk about the death of this young man called Fish Magnet. Most of you that are savvy with internet and you've been browsing or you've been following recent trends can already or must have heard about this very difficult and tragic incident that happened just a few days ago. But my emphasis on this video is not going to be just on his death. It's going to be on the takeaways, things that I've observed, lessons that I've learned, and what I think every Nigerian should have in mind, not just pertaining this particular difficult event or sad event, but something we have to continue to embrace and accept as a very painful part of our reality these days. So let's delve right into it. But before we do, I want to start by introducing myself. If you're new to this space, I want to say a very warm welcome to you. My name is Chibuzo. I'm just an ordinary Nigerian who loves Nigeria a lot. That's why I always talk about the country, and that's why when I see things, I feel like I need to explain what I think, and I need to sensitize people through this thing or through this event. I do my best to make sure that I contribute my own little quota in terms of nation building, because by sensitizing people, we are giving people more power, more information. And as the good as is often said, knowledge is power. The more you know, the more you're able to decide better on what you can do to also help the country going forward. So my name is Chibuzo, and I want to welcome you to this beautiful space. And here are my 5 takes about the death of the popular fish seller known as Fish Magnet. Yes, Nigerians' problem is far more deep-rooted than we think. Oftentimes, a lot of us are always speaking about the government, how bad Tinubu's government is, and everything. We admit that the government has failed us in so many ways, and that is that's not a topic that is up for debate. There is almost like a general consensus about that. But I want us to understand that, Nigeria's problems are far more deep-rooted than we think. In fact, our problems are ourselves. Believe you me that Nigerians' problems are far more deep. They are far more ingrained in us than just the government. The government is part of it, but they are not the only problem. We hate ourselves. I hate to announce that to you, but a lot of people hate themselves. Yes. Especially for people saying, I know that some stupid people are going to probably want to come to this trend and disagree with me in this aspect. When I say this, when I call them stupid, I call them stupid not because they don't have a right to the opinion, but because a lot of them think secession is the way. Divide the country into two. Igbo, Hausa, everybody goes on go on their own and form a government. Hey, this guy that was just died, he was most likely done that by his people. I don't think it's Fulani people or people from a different place that came all the way to whatever state where he stays to execute him. It was most likely people from his own community. If you don't take care, it could even be people that knew him personally. So the idea that when you divide the country and we're all on our own is going to make things become better, everything will now become perfect, everybody will now be behaving themselves, I think it's very erroneously conceived. I don't think it's true. As my philosopher and mentor will always say, Dr. Charles Apoki, Nigeria is like a cake that is baked with the same ingredients. So no matter how you divide it, that same ingredient that was used to bake the cake will still reflect. When you eat it, you still have a taste of it. It doesn't matter the portion you get. It doesn't matter how big, it doesn't matter how small, you will still get the taste of the same ingredients that were used to bake the cake. And I agree with him. So Nigerians' problems are far more deep-rooted than we think. For example, people who killed this young man, what are they gonna benefit? Business? I heard that he was selling his products a lot cheaper than other people who were doing in the same line of the business. And is that why you should kill him? Is that why? That's what happened to healthy competition in marketplace or in business place. I thought in a sane society, if someone was subsidizing his prices and people are enjoying this because of that, the most sane thing to do would have been, okay, let's say for example, I don't want to subsidize my price like him because I know how much I'm investing in this, but maybe I could do like, I will still be selling at a high price, but maybe I will introduce some promo. If you buy 2 of my products, I will give you 1 for free. Now that sounds like a sensible thing to do, or even come up with something more creative than just eliminate him. It was totally unnecessary. All the money you will make, whoever contributed in doing this, what shall it profit you to gain the whole world and lose your soul? You will still get tired of that money. You will still use it to do something else, and then what? You will still continue to want more and more and more. So Nigerians' problems are far more deep-rooted than we think, and that's a topic for another day. If you can you can scroll down on my page, you will see where I did a video titled "Why Nigeria is the way they are." I think you will get more picture of what I mean when I say that Nigerians' problems are far more deep-rooted than we think. There are tribalism going on. There is issues of greed, selfishness amongst us, not just the government. The government are not the only ones who are corrupt. They are not the only ones who are don't mind doing anything just to get our way. We are as well. Most of us are, and it's terrible. We don't have that sense of live and let live. No, is live as long as you're not preventing anything on my end, as long as I'm not negatively affected by what you're doing, you can leave. But if that's the case, then maybe you don't have to leave. That's the sign of not only a degenerating society, but a society that is sick mentally very sick. We don't love ourselves. If you visit pages of many activists, Very Dark Man and the rest, even when these guys are pushing for change, even when these guys are supporting change, maybe protest, let's say like protest, helping the police to protest about reforms that would benefit them, the same police they are helping will still be the one trying to arrest them, will still be the one trying to prosecute. And please don't mind the bike noise. This is London. We have people that just love noise for no reason. So the summary of what I'm saying here is just that Nigerians' problems is like the problems are far more deep-rooted than we think. It's beyond the government. The government is only one part of it, one major part of it, but it's not. If you look into us, you will see far more problems that you will be surprised that these problems actually exist. But believe you me, it would be nice if the government does start changing things from their own end, but the problems they are quite deeper than just the government. Yes, the do or die philosophy of success is real. Do or die philosophy of success simply means what it sounds like. It's either you succeed or somebody has to die for you to succeed. Or it's either you just have to succeed by all means, even if it means killing someone. Why does business have to be a do or die affair? Why does politics have to be a do or die affair? Why does everything has to be a do or die affair? I don't want to go into full details, but there are so many examples of situations where competition quickly became a do or die affair. No, it shouldn't be so. Competition is part of life. Is something that should help people to bring out their best when it comes to creativity. This is what I've created. You, what have you got? Can you match that? Go ahead and prove that to me. It should not be a reason to try to eliminate, to plot to kill somebody, to plot to remove somebody. The truth is, you can never remove competition. You can never. You might temporarily silence a few people. You might temporarily push things to swing to your favor, just like the case of this young boy that just passed, that I'm hearing that it was people of the same business that's probably contributed to what happened to him. It's still allegedly, so we're not very sure, but it's looking like it, because in one of his videos he mentioned that other fish sellers are not happy, or we're not happy with him. So, and we know the extent people can go when they are really not happy with each other, especially in the business space. So it's eat or be eaten. It's do or die affair. But it's not right. It shouldn't be so. So like I was saying, you can't permanently kill competition. You might have I'm talking especially to people who organized the assassination of this young man. He has gone off. He's now he's no longer your problem as things stand. But someone else will come and introduce something else. Are you going to continue to remove them because you don't like competition? Or are you going to try and see how you can come up with more creative things to better your own business, to improve things on your own end? So it is stupid. It is not well calculated. This philosophy of, if I'm competing with you politically, it's do or die. If I'm competing with you in business space, it's do or die. If I'm competing with you even in sporting space, it's do or die. It should not be so. Competitions are there to promote creativity. How do they say it? Necessity is the mother of invention. If someone is doing well in a particular field, the idea should be for you to come up with something better, not remove them, not try to damage what they are doing. And Nigerians, we are very good at this. A lot of Nigerians, the way we perceive competition is not, this is an opportunity to do better, this is an opportunity to come up with something better. We see competition as an opportunity to silence another person in order to climb on top of them and probably replace whatever position they occupied or become better than them. No. Competition does not always mean you necessarily have to negatively harm the other person. In fact, the core of competition is that this person is doing something good, is an opportunity for you to come out and do something better. That's the way it should be in a sane, working society. It is only in a very insane society where this do or die affair philosophy of success exists, that you have things like this. When competition comes, instead of it becoming an opportunity for people to bring out their best and become better, they will the focus will be on silencing, targeting, killing off the competition, not necessarily replacing the competition with something better, but killing off the competition, because we don't want it. But sad news is, you can never eliminate competition permanently in any space. You might do that temporarily, but it will always in the future come back. There will always be competition. So how many people are you ready to remove because you don't like competition, because everything is do or die for you? Think about that. Yes, the third point is that security issues remain a major concern in the country. For crying out loud, this is 21st century. How much will it cost to install CCTV camera in every part of the country? How much will it cost? I'm not saying that crime cannot happen in places where there are CCTV cameras, but at least, even if the crimes happen, these cameras will give a better base, a better platform to easily capture, arrest, or prosecute these criminals. But the problem in a society where there's a lot of porosity, everywhere is open for anything can happen anywhere, and there is no way of finding out what happened there, is that criminals, they feel at ease to do whatever they like, and nothing will happen because the environment is easy for them to do what they want to do, and they know that they can always go escape with impunity no matter what they do. And I'm not saying that installation of security cameras is just the only way out. There are so many other things that could be done to help Nigerian security. One of them could also be introducing and encouraging community policing. We've talked about this a million times. Let every people have their own police. Yeah. Let everyone have their own police. It will really go a long way. And then there are so many other things that could also be done. But this is also a reminder that security problems remain a major concern. How many people have died in the hands of unknown gunmen? At what point will these unknown gunmen ever become known? At what point? The husband of late Dora Akunyele, this enterprising young man that just passed. So many others. Some of them are other assassinations. Some of them were politically motivated. Some of them were senseless. Some of them were stupid. And what is stupid? Stupidity simply means doing something that does not benefit either you or the society. You can go ahead and study more about the Marco Cipola's law or philosophy of stupidity, so you understand better how stupid people think. So at what point do we say it is all over? It is time to start addressing the security issues, security problems that have plagued this country for a very long time. So many months back, I started hearing that so many investors have left, partly because of security concern. They are not sure that they can transport their goods from point A to point B without armed robbers or kidnappers or anyone trying to stop them and harm them or do something. So I think this is 21st century, and it's really high time that we begin to think of what we can do to address this security concern. It's becoming something else. I think to come out from your house, do what you want to do, and go back home in Nigeria is not a flex anymore. It's almost becoming like a miracle. Yeah, that's how bad it has become. So there are so many things that could be done, especially in terms of our security, and the concerns remain the same. It remains the same. For example, if let's say this is if you're savvy with some developed countries, there's one thing that we'll call universal credit program. Universal credit program is just something the government introduced to help unemployed youths, people who are mostly unemployed, to be getting by, to help them brush them up, to find jobs and become useful to the society. And this is also to encourage people not to become just frustrated and want to turn into crimes because you don't have anything doing. This is something we can introduce in Nigeria. Imagine if some of those kidnappers, people who are inflicting all this harm on non-government looking for money and all that, if they were given the opportunity to become better individuals, if at the end of every month, government have a particular money they pay them to encourage them to at least be surviving through this while we keep helping you, getting you ready to get to the point where you get a job and become independent. It will not reduce, it will not stop entirely crime rates, but believe you me, it will reduce it very, very significantly. So security issues, the problem with security issues outweighs just people doing crazy things. It's deep-rooted in unemployment, social injustice, corruption, marginalization, a lot of reasons. And I'm not trying to make excuses for perpetrators of heinous crimes, because no matter how a country is, people still have a choice to decide whether I'm going to be a useful, patriotic member of this country or I'm not going to be. So it's not like they don't have a choice. But I'm only saying that events or programs like this, if introduced, could help to mitigate some of these issues. It's not insurmountable. It's not something there is absolutely nothing that can be done about it. It's just that people who can do it are not willing to even try, and it's a problem. 21st century, for crying out loud, and security concern is still a thing. I pray and I hope that things get better, even though the signs are not very good. Yeah. The fourth point is that good or well-meaning Nigerians suffer the most in the country. Where do I start from? Dele Faro Rotimi was arrested few months back. Was it last year? Because of what? Because he was saying the truth. How many times have they arrested Very Dark Man? How many times do you see people using propagandistic vices, to either shame or to bring down people who are saying the truth? And this is closely related to my first point, that Nigerians' problems are far more deep-rooted than we think. We hate people who say the truth. And I'll say it loudly. A lot of Nigerians do hate people who speak out, who say the truth. Some of them because they are beneficiaries of the rot. Some of them because they are just stupid. Remember the philosophy. One of the philosophies of stupidity, according to Marco Cipolla, is that a stupid person is a person who does anything that it does not benefit him and it does not benefit the society. Now imagine someone who's opposing someone who's fighting for them, for their own good, for their own interest. Isn't that stupidity? Somebody is protesting. Somebody is trying to give you a voice, is trying to bring a problem that you're suffering to the appropriate people who can deal with it. And what do? You turn and fight them. Fighting them, what does it benefit you? That is the definition of absolute stupidity, according to Marco Cipolla. So, good or well-meaning people suffer the most in the country. And it's terrible. I cannot mention even one person, just one person, one good or well-meaning Nigerian that has not been either assassinated, faced campaign of calumny where their names were being dragged to the mud because they wanted to tarnish their image, arrested, put in custody, unlawfully detained, or something evil has happened. I cannot mention even just one person. I can't. No matter who you are, as long as you're a well-meaning Nigeria and you are truthful and you are vociferous, either of this must have happened to you at some point. Why? Why do we hate people who say the truth? Why? Have we become so used to a very corrupt system, a system where abnormal is the new normal, that anybody who tries to do something outside of this is now an enemy? Is that how bad the rot has eaten into some people's brain and mental mindset? So good and well-meaning people in Nigeria suffer the most. But should we stop being good? Should we stop being patriotic citizens? Absolutely not. It is what it is. It is what it is. There's always a price to pay for anything. There's a price to pay for stupidity. There's a price to pay for being outspoken. There's usually a price to pay for speaking up. So, and again, that is also a very good sign of a deteriorating society. Because people who say the truth in a sane society should be people who should be not only celebrated, but government should encourage these people not only just to speak out, to speak more, but invite them, borrow from their brains. Now you're saying this. How do you think we can make things better? Because we are working in tandem with you because we want the best for the country. And from what you're saying, it seems you also want the best for the country. Fine. So now, can we borrow from your brain? What do you think we can do about this? Consult them. There is nothing wrong with that. Because all they want is the good of the country. But we don't. Rather, they are molested, they are silenced, they are faced with campaign of calumny, they are faced with propagandistic hate speech, they are faced with suppression and oppression. It's not helpful. And I don't know why it's like that, but it's just something I've noticed, especially in our country, Nigeria. Good and well-meaning people suffer the most. If you remain silent, if you're always okay with anything that happens, you accept everything. Everything is no matter how disturbing it is for you, you always accept everything. Nobody will care about you because you whatever they do to you, you accept. So you're a good citizen. Yet we claim to be democratic. That is something else I've noticed. And this guy, for example, when I say good does not mean perfect. Somebody can be imperfect and still be good. So don't come to my comment section to tell me that you're calling us these good people. Do you know how the life they live beyond social media? It will be a very stupid thing to say because you can be good and imperfect. So good does not necessarily mean you're a perfect person. For example, this young man who was just silenced, he's a well-meaning citizen of Nigeria. Why do I say so? He was selling his fishes at subsidized rates. I saw one of the videos I watched. I saw a carton, a very big carton that had about 10 to 15 big fishes, and he was saying, "Can you believe that you can only get this for as low as 30,000?" And my aim is to help Nigeria. This is in quotes the things he said. My aim is to help Nigerians, even if I make 5 naira as profit from what I do. That is the sign of a well-meaning Nigeria that seems like he's putting the good of people even beyond his own profit, his own personal gains. And where is he today? 6 feet below. But that's not a reason for us to stop being good. It's not a reason for us to, because good people suffer, to remain silent and take everything. We have to just keep doing what we have to do and believe that someday good will ultimately win against evil. And then my final thoughts about this whole thing is my last point. I also made a video about this, and that is the dangerous culture of letting things slide continues. Yeah. Instead of when something happens, you see the appropriate authorities come together to draw a comprehensive plan of how can we stop things like this from happening. This is becoming an issue. What can be done moving forward? We don't see that. I've been and I've lived in a developed country, and one of the things I can tell you is when something happens, there is not only an investigation, they do a lot of things, a lot of other activities which are aimed at stopping the recurrence of that same bad event. But no, it doesn't apply to us. In fact, when something bad happens, you hear authorities saying investigation has been done, investigation has started. It's good to come out and say something like that, but after that, you don't even hear them come back and tell you this is the steps we've taken, or these are the steps we've taken, or these are the people that have been arrested. These are the places we've gone to in order to bring justice to the family of whoever is affected by this crime. or just this is where we are in terms of this case. You don't hear that. It's just, you just hear, oh, we've commenced investigation, and that is it. After 5, 6, 1 week, everybody's now focusing on something else. But we forget, I said it in one of my videos, that every problem we continue to let slide, it's not going to take care of itself. It will only keep lodging somewhere. It's like a cancer inside the body. If it's not removed, it will not die on its own. If you don't do chemotherapy and do things that you have to do to treat it, it's not going to die on its own. It will remain there. And what will happen? It will metastasize and begin to spread until it will get to the point where the person's body completely collapses. That is the way problems are. That is how dangerous this culture of continually letting everything slide can become. We keep piling up issues for the future. We may not suffer now, the problem or the effects now is in the future that we'll have to face the effects. So now everybody's talking about this young man. I expect after a week, we are all moving forward. Nobody's asking questions. What has been done? Who has been arrested? Going forward, what have the country's government even done to help the security concern? And what have the citizens themselves done to help the security concern? It's not just the government. Nobody will ask those questions. It's now on to the next case. And what this does is that somewhere in our mind, we are, without knowing it, we are promoting abnormality as the new normal. Because every abnormal thing that is happening, we just cry and shout about it at that point, and then we let it slide, and that's it. Letting things slide can also mean acceptance of it, quick acceptance. It's not everything that should be accepted. There are some topics that we should persist on. I was very impressed when Nigerian youth started the 30-day rant challenge. Where are we today? Most of them are now watching Big Brother Africa or Big Brother Nigeria, whatever. We're still talking about the ranting. Why have we stopped talking? Does it mean that the problems that made us rant has disappeared? Have they been tackled? Are we just culture of letting things slide? There's a video I made about that. You can get more insights of what I mean by that. It is a very dangerous culture. Now we're talking about this young man, but in the next few days or before you know it, nobody will ask questions again. Everybody will just keep quiet. And that's it. It is bad. It's time to start persisting with questions, persisting with pressure until we get to the root of whatever is the problem. Yeah. Because if you keep quiet, chances are appropriate authorities will also keep quiet. It's stupid. It shouldn't be so. But in a country where things are not sane, I think it makes sense that we shouldn't keep quiet. At least by us protesting and putting pressure, something is happening. But when you stop putting pressure, they will go to bed and sleep. You've forgotten about it, and that's it. We're just going to move on. I pray that God will help us. And I want to also place a caveat out on top of everything I've said. Nigeria is still a beautiful country. I believe in this country so much, and we speak because we care. We are not speaking because we just want to make things bad, or we are desperate to paint the image of the country. We are speaking because we want to change, we want to reform. And this is a plea to every body, not just the appropriate authorities, not just the president, not just the government, to continue to do well for this country. We only have one country. It's not two. After Nigeria is there is no sub-Nigeria. It's just Nigeria. So I believe things will get better. I believe we have to keep pressing on. I believe we have to keep speaking up. And I believe we have to keep doing our best to make the country better. Remember that nation building is not a day course. It's not a one-man action. It requires collective efforts. And it doesn't matter how small your efforts might be. Start from somewhere, because little drops of water makes a mighty ocean. My name is Chibuzo. Thank you for giving me your time. I hope you've enjoyed this beautiful edition. See you next time. Remember to comment, subscribe, like, share, and do have yourself a wonderful week. Peace.